Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. So today I'm going to walk you through making a set of these storage bins here. I had plans that I started with and I kind of deviated along the way and just winged it at a few spots, but it ended up turning out pretty nice. So I'm going to walk you through how I built this, and it's pretty simple, but it's very functional storage. So hopefully you find it useful. Let's get going. So the first thing I do is measure out for the square pieces that are going to be on the ends and in the middle to separate the bins. I'm going to cut these down on the miter saw. And then I measure out for my angles. And I believe I did these at 51 degrees and 66 degrees, if I remember correctly. You can kind of play around with it and make it a little bit different if you want. That's just what I had done. And then I go and cut down the angles on the miter saw. And then I kind of cheated a little bit, and I'm just going to trace over so it's a little bit easier rather than measuring out all of the angles individually on each piece. So a little bit of a shortcut. Now you'll notice I started with 3. I was originally just going to do 2 bins, and then I had talked with Heather about it, and we decided to end up doing a 4th piece as well, so we have 3 different bins. And I figure out how long of a piece I'm going to need and how long basically the bins are going to be, and I did this at 41 inches, I believe. Then I go ahead and measure for the top and the bottom. Make sure you're going to the corners and make sure you get your full length there, so you know how wide to rip your board down to. And I also ripped the bottom. And I just go ahead and cut those to length as well, which is going to be that the 3'5" length. I just give everything a quick sand and get some of the edges off, some of the little burrs and splinters off. And then I go ahead and nail the pieces fast that are going to be in between there. want to make sure for these middle pieces that you're measuring out equally, so your bins are all equal distance, so it doesn't look wonky or anything. So make sure you're getting those even across. Now again, when we nail these middle pieces, you want to make sure that you're measuring and make sure the distance is correct so they're not slanted or a little bit wonky, because we did only nail it in the back. They could be off in the front, so you want to make sure you're getting those even. And we do the same thing with the other side, which is going to be the top. Alright, and we're going to do the little slanted front piece here. So what I did was kind of level that cutoff with the bottom piece. So we try to make that as closely and tightly fit as possible. Again, I only have a contractor grade table saw, so it's not going to be perfect. As you can see here, it's a little bit off, but and then we're going to just square up that front as well and make that cut. And then go ahead and rip it to its final width. I'm going to go ahead and use Rust-Oleum Dark Walnut Stain. This will give it a nice dark finish, kind of bring some of the grains out, but we wanted it pretty dark. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and clear coat it to put an extra level of protection on. I kind of cheated a little bit, took a shortcut and was going to use spray clear coat, as you can see. Created a powdery residue on the inside, so I ended up going back with a wipe on poly and polyed all of the inside, just so I didn't have any of the spray residue. But you can obviously poly the whole thing. Alright, and there we have our completed bins. I was originally going to use a rough cut wood for this, just to give it more of a rustic look. I didn't have enough of the same type of wood, the same size, that would have worked for everything, every piece of this. So I ended up using the plywood. It still turned out pretty nice, and we're going to use it to store some of our kids' toys and stuff in, so I'm sure it'll be beat up soon either way. But I still think it turned out pretty nice. You just got to kind of play around with the sizes a little bit. You can always go bigger if you want. But I just think it has a nice classic look to it. Kind of looks like old store bins or something that you'd see in an old general store. So kind of has a nice look to it, and it'll definitely be useful. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. And as always, we'll see you next time.